screenshot.
Oh, like a screenshot? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try.
So we're live. Welcome back, Triangle community, for another Triangle Live. We've been doing a couple back-to-back because we've got so many amazing things to share with you. Today, I'm really excited to have Christie Zimmer on with me. Christie and I have been online buddies for years. I can't remember how long it goes back, but I know that I first found Christie shortly before I moved my family to India. And what we're going to share with you, the work that she does had a really big impact on my ability to settle in and to capture memories while we were abroad. So Christie, welcome, welcome. Tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. This is my first live interview experience, so I'm really thrilled that it's with you, Naomi, my good friend of many years through the internet. We're so lucky. So yeah, my name is Christie Zimmer, and I create guided journals. I live in Guelph, a city called Guelph, in Ontario, Canada. It's a small city just outside of Toronto, about an hour outside of Toronto. And my background with journaling actually starts with a move, which is perfect for this discussion. We moved from Toronto to Guelph, a new city. And at that point, I've always writing is something I've always done. It's a way that I love to express myself. It's a way that I kind of figure out what's happening around me. It's a way that I think. Mm-hmm. And so we moved to Guelph, and I was freelancing, writing freelance, and I found I was writing a weekly column in our daily newspaper. We had young children at home. It was all new to me. I was trying to figure out my place in this new city, and I started a blog, a personal blog. And before long, I was posting journal pages, fill in the blank, fun journal pages, and I found that other people could download from my blog, and I found that they really resonated with my very small audience at the time, and I was thrilled because journaling is a subject that is very near and dear to my heart, and I loved that I was finding people that also wanted to journal right along with me. So that's kind of where the journaling started, and many years later, there's a shop now, and I've even done work outside of the internet. I've done journaling workshops through schools and businesses, and it's been great. And I've been creating reflective learning materials as well. So it's blossomed into something I never expected, but I love every day of it, every minute of it.
That's so amazing. So tell me, because we moved to India in 2009. So at what point in your journey were you in 2009?
Oh,
was that
right at the beginning? Like you were. That's so funny. So I had written for the newspaper for probably 2 or 3 years at that point. I started the blog, and I pretty much just started posting. Maybe I've been posting them for a while, but I just started at that point. So you found me.
Okay, so we've been together.
Right from the beginning.
So I love journaling, and I've done it for years. But can you tell the members that are joining us, and by the way, hello to everyone joining us, why is journaling so important, and how is it different from, say, the adult coloring books that's kind of swept the nation and the world as a new thing?
There's definitely some overlap there. Like I absolutely love the adult coloring books, and I love the doodle books that are out there. And a lot of those books actually involve prompts that would be very similar to journal prompts and writing prompts to help you be mindful in the moment. The coloring is about being mindful in the moment, as journaling is. And the same with the doodle prompts. It's a kind of different ways of approaching things. The journaling to me is, for me, journaling is a tool. It's a tool for intentional, purposeful action. So it's more than just recording events as they happen, although that's a big part of it. But it's figuring out what they mean to you and then deciding what you're going to do about them. To me, journaling, when I think of what kind of tool a journal is, it reminds me a lot of a Swiss Army knife. So there's there's the corkscrew, and there's the knife, and then there's the nail clipper and all that, and the nail scissors and everything. And there's something for every job. And journaling is just like that. It's something for every job. So you can write lists in your journal. You can have dialogue in your journal with yourself, with other people. You can problem solve and goal set in your journal. And the thing that holds that all together, the shell of that tool that brings all of these things together, is reflection. Right? Mm-hmm. So reflecting on what's happening around you, and what's important to you, the people and the things that matter most to you, what you're connecting with. And reflection is thinking with a purpose. So like I said, it's more than just recording events. It's figuring out what they mean to you. And it's figuring out how they add to your understanding of the world and what you want to do about them going forward. And the great thing about reflection, the type of reflection you do in your journal, is that it puts you in control. Right? So things are happening around you. You're deciding what's important to you, what matters to you, what you want your days to look like, what you want your life to look like. And then you take steps to make that happen. And a lot of that thinking through happens in your journal. And so I saw a quote ages ago, which I loved, which is, with reflection, you're not someone to whom, when you're reflecting, you're not someone to whom things happen. You're someone who goes out and happens to things. And so that's exactly what we wanted to capture in the journal pages. I
love that. I love that. So I just did a live yesterday to my community, and I talked about my journal. I usually have 2 per year, that everything goes in here. Like you were talking about, there's the Swiss Army knife. Yeah. And this becomes, part of what I have really loved is that I have these now. I've got them on my bookshelf behind me, years and years of things that I've captured about my life that I can hand down to my kids also. Yeah. And I wonder what your thought of the almost responsibility that we have to capture our memories and life as it's happening.
So yeah, like that's absolutely another dimension of journaling, right? Is that it's a record. It's a record. So in one way, it's a record of it's the story of you. Right? Often journaling is referred to as a process of becoming. So it's the process of you having experiences, adding experiences to the person you're becoming better at coping with the things that come your way, and sharing that in your journal. If you're going to share it with your children, that's something they can see too. They can see not just the things, the day-to-day events, but they can see how far you came, how much you accomplished together as a family. It's also a record of, things that worked really well for you. It can be a place where you keep, strategies, for example, in an international move, if you're doing it if you're moving more than once, things that worked for you last time that you can look back on and say, how did we, ship all of our stuff across the continent or across the ocean? This is what we did last time, right? So it's a record of your successes, of how you overcame your challenges, and that's a wonderful inspiration to other people who might become readers of your journal.
Right. So one of the things that I know that I talk with friends about when I share that I journal, a lot of times they say, I don't have time. I don't have time to add journaling to my life. There's so much going on, especially in the middle of an impending move. So talk to us a little bit about your new product, the 10-minute pages, and the magic of 10 minutes.
So I see the 10 minutes as a jumping off point. And my thing about journaling is I would love I really think there's so much value in journaling that even in 10 minutes, there's so much that you can accomplish. And the best way to start is to start. So 10 minutes is a great way to jump in with both feet. Everyone's got kind of 10 minutes either at the end of the day or the beginning of the day or the middle of the day when they can write down a few thoughts. And I think it's a good starting off point. Eventually, I think you start to see the benefits and you find your own way of journaling that works best for you, but it doesn't have to involve a 1 hour sit down, put everything away. It can be jotting things down as you go. And I think a lot of us are already journaling and maybe we don't realize it, right? I think a wonderful treasure trove of journal-worthy material is your daily to-do list. So, your to-do list is a list of how you spend your days, right? It's a picture, it's a story of how you spend your days. And so one option, so again, another way to kind of take just a few minutes and reflect on what you're doing and what's working for you and what's not working for you is to just keep your to-do list around, to take a look at your to-do list. You can write a little bit, you can pick one item that went really well today from your to-do list or one item that didn't get checked off on your to-do list and write a little bit more about that. But it doesn't have to be the format of journaling is so versatile. There really is something for everyone. And if time is an issue for you, just take 10 minutes, just start, just dive in there. And that's what I try to do with my 10-minute pages is give new journalers or journalers who are in a rut or who just need a starting off point, a way to take 10 minutes out of their day to focus in on something that really matters to them. I think that's what, for me, journaling, it just really deepens my experience of the world. Mm-hmm. And it's a way to kind of slow everything down for just a few minutes and focus in on one thing that's important to me. And you can really do that in 10 minutes. You can accomplish quite a bit in 10 minutes.
Well, and I love that you brought that up about a to-do list because you could take one piece from that and have some great reflection around.
Yeah.
Was that day accomplished? Yeah, that's really great. So one of the things that I'm excited to do with you today is we're going to have a giveaway. So for those of you guys that are watching, excuse me, while we are live, if you guys can comment, then we will randomly draw from those that are commenting live during this broadcast. And we're going to give away one of Christie's new products that she and I have been working on actually developing together. Let's talk a little bit. Let's see. We have a comment. We'll do that first. Kath says, for me, these kind of books become so important that I never leave them in my car. My wallet can be replaced, but not my journals.
Oh, yeah.
I feel the same way.
Yeah, me too. I love that.
Awesome.
It shows,
yeah.
The value that they really have in our lives. I think that's wonderful.
We do. Yeah, we do. So let's talk a little bit about these. So we talked previously about the 10-minute pages. And I want to just show you guys, Christie and I worked together to create 10 minutes to unpack your move. So she has developed sheets for kids. She's developed pages for teens and developed pages for adults. So share a little bit about this process. I'm going to just show a quick picture. Talk to us a little bit about how you create 10-minute pages and what went into creating the Unpack Your Move set.
So the great thing about a guided journal, as opposed to kind of a notebook journal, is that there are no blank pages. And I personally have loved that. I always start with an idea in mind or my own little prompt in mind. I tend to do really well when I can focus in on something, have a starting off point. So that's what these pages are. There are lots of writing prompts, lots of journal prompts to get you thinking about your move from all sorts of different perspectives. That's the idea of reflecting as well, is that when you start to look at things from different perspectives, you start to understand them in different ways. And maybe there are insights there, aha moments that will help you in your move to think of it in a new way. If you're overwhelmed, to give you a starting point to figure out what to do next. So the way I've divided these pages is kind of by theme. So one page is about the home that you're in and the home that you're moving to and the transition between the two. Another is about the people in your move, the people in your life, the people that you're going to stay in touch with in the place that you're leaving, and the new things you're excited to do with new people in the place that you're going to. But there are also pages there to talk about how you overcame the challenges in your move, and also to record all the little details of your move, all the little steps you took along the way, so that you have a great record, first of how it all happened, but then later when you look back on it as to how you did it, so you can pat yourself on your back for your accomplishments and keep it in mind for next time.
I love that. And I'm, again, as always, lagging with my internet connection. But can we talk a little bit about the kids' pages? Because what I really love, I'm going to show you guys, it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be writing. Sometimes it can be an image. Yep. So this one that I'm looking at, it's so simple. Draw a picture of your old home or residence and then draw a picture of your new one. I think that just in that simple act can help to kind of ground that whole experience around what it's like for a child to leave a home that they're very accustomed to.
Yeah. And there are a lot of details that you can tease out of a picture too. So if you're journaling with your child, you can ask them about things in the picture. What does this mean? What does that mean? Why is this included? Who's in your picture? Why are they important to you? And that may help your child as well to talk about how they're feeling about the move, whether they're excited. And that gives you an opportunity to share your thoughts as well with your child on how you think it's going to go, what you think your new home's going to look like, what you're excited about, what's important to you as well. It's a great way to share between you and your child.
Yeah, these kids' pages are so amazing. Like, I'm just sitting here looking through them, and there's so much that you could unpack to have further dialogue with kids. And then you also have the teens pages, which I think is another big, really great opportunity for those of you that have teens in the middle of your move. One thing that I love about what you've done is you're not hiding the hard stuff. So one of the prompts in this teen page that I'm looking at, one person you can go to if you have questions about your move, and then one person you can go to if you're frustrated about your move. I like that you're really talking about the struggle and the big life changes and asking them to just sit with it for a little bit for 10 minutes. I think that's so helpful.
Yeah, and it's also it's very kind of intentional and action oriented. It's, if you're frustrated, there's something that you can do about it. Maybe there's a person in your life that you can go and talk to. Who is that person? Let's put that front of mind so that if that moment comes up, that there's something that you can do about it. So you can, yes, recognize the difficult parts. And then I find, so journaling for me, that's when my inner cheerleader comes out, right? So yes, I'm struggling with something that's a big challenge for me. Yes, I have a problem, but what can I do about it? A journal is a great place to figure that out, to try new ideas on for size, and to use your voice, right? So this, again, it puts you in control. So this, for the teenager, is use your voice. If you're frustrated, respectfully, let's find someone who can help you through that, or let's find a way that we're going to manage that. And there's also a spot in the teen pages, which is talking about something that's really hard about the move. But the very next prompt is, okay, and then, so what are we doing about it? We're acknowledging that there are struggles, but what are we going to do about it? And then there's the very next prompt after that is, what is something that wasn't as hard as you thought it was going to be? A lot of times these, in our mind, things are overwhelming, but when we write them down, look at them from different perspectives, we see that maybe it's not as difficult as we thought it was going to be. And I find journaling really helps me with that quite a bit. I'm someone who lives in my head a bit, but when I take issues out of my head and put them on the page into words, words have a way of clarifying things, of showing you the edges of problems, of giving you a way into solving them. And that's what I want for everyone who journals.
And sometimes I think too, for myself, when I journal, sometimes it's simply about getting those words out of my head. Yeah. I don't have to do anything with them. It doesn't necessarily help me solve a problem, but it's just out of my head, and it stops that constant churn of ideas and thoughts, and just gets some of those struggles or whatever it is out of my head. That's important.
Agree. And often I find, for me, things look different on the page than they did in my head. When you have to put your thoughts into words, words are specific and meaningful. It gives those struggles meaning. It gives you a way in. It helps you to understand them better and to apply, all of those strengths, all that wisdom that we've built up over the years. And everyone has it. Teenagers have it. Kids have it. We all have this wisdom that we can access if we can clarify kind of what the problem is.
Right.
Journaling really helps with that.
So I'm looking now through some of the adult pages.
Right.
And one of the things that I like is the idea around journaling a tradition that you intend to bring from one home to the next. And talking about local dishes, local traditions, that's huge in our community. I think sometimes that we have so much gusto and so much angst over the new location that sometimes we forget to just kind of sit with where we're leaving. So I like that there was some work around that.
I love the idea too of like bridging the gap, right? That yes, you're leaving, maybe you're moving from one place to another, but you don't have to leave it all behind.
Right.
There are things that can come with you, right? And I know I've been very, very fortunate to read, some of the comments in your community and the posts in your community. Such a diverse and generous and kind group of people who talk so much about the transition from one place to the next place. And I think there's a lot of value there. I think you don't have to. So first of all, it's wonderful to have a record of what the old place was like, of what you remember most about it, what you loved about it. And then think about what you love and take that with you and bring it to the new place. Again, you get to decide. Right? You get to decide how your move goes. It is overwhelming. It is challenging, but you get to decide what are the great parts that you're going to bring with you, and what are the parts that you're going to leave behind. You're starting fresh. You can, that thing that over there that was a problem for me, I'm gonna take a new perspective in my new place. And again, a journal is a great place to sort that out, to try those ideas on for size, to figure that out so that it's front of mind when it's actually part of your day-to-day experience.
Right. So for those of you that are just joining us, I see there's a bunch of new people that have joined. We are going to do a giveaway of Christie Zimmer's amazing product that she has just developed for our community. For those of you that comment live during the broadcast, you'll be entered to win a pack of the pages. Christie Zimmer is her website, christiezimmer.com. She has all sorts of amazing journal pages. The 10 minutes pages are really great, and there's a whole span of different products. But one of the things that I really have loved watching you do is on your Instagram. I have loved those prompts. So talk to me a little bit about those prompts and what you found from your community, the interaction that has come from having those questions.
Yeah, so for months, from October until May, I'm on a bit of a summer hiatus, but I'm definitely going to go back to it. But I was doing daily journal prompts through Instagram and on my Facebook page and on my blog. And again, it's just a way in, right? It's the thing about my journal prompts, they're very much here and now prompts. What are you doing right now? What are you up to? What do you hope to achieve? What are your goals? And that was it. I found that the daily prompts were a way to invite people into that, to invite people to journal again, one prompt for a really short time, to really think about to add some purpose and intention to the actions that they're taking every day. And my favorites, I have to say, going back through them in preparation for the interview, was at the beginning of every month, I started with exactly the same prompt, which was, so at the beginning of April, it was 3 ways you'll make the most of April. And then in May, it was 3 ways you'll make the most of May, or 3 things you'll do to make the most of May. And those ones I loved. That's when other people's inner cheerleaders came out too. That's when I found there was always an upside. It was very positive. I loved seeing what other people's plans were for the month. And it's a way again to bring those plans to the front of your mind so that there's something that you're going to act on. There's something that you're thinking about every day as you're going about your daily activities. So yeah, there was quite a bit of interaction. I was amazed and thrilled that people were willing to share their thoughts and their replies to the prompts in each post. And yeah, I'm definitely going to get started again. I can't wait to.
Well, and what was so great as I was following along is that people started holding each other accountable for some of those things too. They would check back in and say, hey, I saw that you wanted to do this or accomplish this or change this, and people were having that kind of interaction as well. So I really enjoyed those. So it'll be fun for you to get those started back up.
I will for sure.
Yeah. So as we wrap up, what are some of the ways that you could offer practical outside of these 10-minute pages,
Mm-hmm.
what are ways that people could practically begin the process of journaling so that it doesn't feel overwhelming? I mean, obviously it's a pen and a paper, but what are your thoughts around someone who says, I just don't know how to start?
Yeah. So these are my favorite people. There are so many ways. And like I said, we already record our lives in a lot of different ways. So sometimes it's just tuning into the ways that we're already recording what's happening in our lives, and thinking about them a little more careful, like thinking about them a little more with a little more depth. So the to-do list. So one is to I keep my to-do list. I love looking back through my to-do list. I love looking back through what's checked off and what's not checked off. I love looking back and seeing there are patterns over time that you see, this is something I always get to and this is something I never get to. Well, why is that? Maybe, so one option is to take your day's to-do list, staple it into a blank journal or paste it on there. Choose one item that stands out for you, either that it's a big challenge for you or that it's something you're really proud of, and write a little bit more about it. Add some more details, and then do it every day for a week, and then look back over it and see the patterns that emerge, see the things that you're doing every day, and say to yourself, is that what I want? These are what my days have looked like this week. Is that what I want for myself? Is that how I want my days to look? And are there changes? If not, if yes, great. If not, maybe there are changes that you can make going forward, small tweaks that will make a big difference. Another thing is that you don't have to be the only person who writes in your journal. As we talked about with these, so with the new pages, is you could have a family journal, especially in a move. That's a great opportunity for the whole family to chime in on the issues that are coming up during your move. So open it up to everybody. You could choose a topic, new school, for example, for the children, or new house. What do we want our new house to look like? What things do we need in our new house? And everybody writes an entry. Everybody gets to chime in. And then the thrill of that is it becomes kind of a dialogue. Once you get those first entries in there, you can respond to them. You can comment on them. You can choose something that was in somebody's entry and expand on that. And just let it organically kind of one thing follows the next thing follows the next thing. And before you know it, you're seeing things from perspectives that you hadn't considered, that you didn't expect. And those aha moments come and those insights. And that's really exciting, especially if you're doing it with your family, because you're all involved in the move in different ways too, right? So some people are making the decisions, and some people are having to, the children are having to live with those decisions. And it's wonderful if you give them a voice too. So that's another way is don't leave it up to yourself to write in your journal. If you want, let everybody write and have a family journal. Another one, a quick one. Do we have time?
Yes.
Another quick one is some people are really, really visual. So lines on a page is not inspiring at all. So what about post-it note journaling, which is, I totally do this. I post-it note journal whenever I'm trying to figure stuff out, whenever I'm trying to make a plan. So the idea is get a whole bunch of, go for a post-it shopping spree. Yes. And different colors. There's so many different colors out there now, which is awesome. So
they even have a whole series that are named after international cities.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh, and they have different shapes. They have flowers and hearts, and so go for a shopping spree with your kids or for yourself. Grab a bunch of different sizes and different shapes of different colors of Post-it notes, and then one idea per Post-it note. So if you're trying to figure out a plan, like how is this move actually going to happen? On each Post-it note, write one thing you have to do. And then stick them all, get a big sheet of paper, do it on your dining room table if you want. It doesn't even have to be on paper. Just clear off your dining room table, lay them all out, and then start moving them around. Maybe you're putting them in order to see if you can do it chronologically, if this figuring out can happen chronologically. Maybe you're putting it in groups of things that go together. Sometimes seeing a problem in all of its different parts visually helps you to understand it better, helps you to figure out, again, it's a way in. How do I start? Where do I start? And then when you're finished, you can take them all off your dining room table and you can tape them into a notebook, or you can staple them all together and put them in a pocket of a binder that you have. I have so many Post-it note journal entries. I love it because I can go back to later. I can go back a month later when I've started my plan. I can say, okay, how have I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish? maybe the order I originally set out wasn't good. Well, these Post-it notes they move. So I'm going to rearrange the order based on the experience I've had so far, and I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep moving forward.
That's really awesome. I love that idea. And I love the practical nature of that too, because it really does get you through a situation or through a struggle. So that's an awesome idea.
Yeah. And again, it's a tool for, it really is a tool. I mean, it is a record. It is the story of becoming and of your, the moving through your life, but it also really is a tool. You can use it to figure stuff out. And then keep that so that later on, if a similar problem comes up, you can look back and go, how did I figure that out? You've got a record of it.
No, and that's so reaffirming also. And it's, it's one of those things that kind of gives you a reminder of your stick-to-itiveness. That's not a word, but your ability to get through problems.
Yeah. And you're in control, remember, right? Like you have it to design.
Absolutely. So we have to wrap up because we like to keep these short.
Okay.
But I want to show everybody really quickly just a little sample. That is the for teens, and there's several pages in the pack, so it's not just one. There's the one for kids, and they're colorful, they're beautiful, they're very attractive, and then there's the one for adults. Christie, where do we find these pages? Where do we find this new product that you've created for the I Am a Triangle community?
So I think the best way to do it is you can visit my website, www.christiezimmer.com. I see you have it up on the screen. At the very top right-hand corner, there's a link to my shop. It just says shop. Just click on shop, and that'll take you right to my Etsy shop, where you'll see our new product front and center. It's right up at the top. You can't miss it.
That's awesome. I'm so excited because I think one thing that will be fun too as we go, once the website launches, in goodness, just over 2 weeks, to explore a little bit and have some challenges around journaling. So I'm excited to have our community jump in. And for anyone that commented live during this on either inside the group or on the main place where this live video is happening, we'll do a random draw and get you guys a free set of printables. Christie, how much? Purchase through your shop?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Sure. How much do the page sets cost through your shop?
Yeah, each set is $5 US.
Perfect. So reasonable, no excuses.
No, and it's a digital file. So so you don't get paper. What you get is a download of the pages. You can print them off. They're in 4 different sizes. So if you're in North America and letter size is the size that you print in, that's available. If you're in Europe or elsewhere where A4 and A5 pages are the standard size, you can print in that size. And then you can print the pages as many times as you like, as many times as you need them for as many moves as you have.
So for some of our Triangle members, that might be on repeat over and over and over for those that move a lot.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome.
Christie, thank you about journaling and the power that it has. We will see everyone inside the community. Christie, I'm looking forward to diving into my Unpack Your Move pages myself.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be able to chat with you in person, sort of.
Yes, I know. It feels like after all this time, finally.
Yeah. It's like chatting with an old friend. It was lovely.
It does feel like that, totally. All right. Well, thank you, everybody who is watching live or on the replay. Have a really great rest of your day and a week ahead.
Thank you. Bye.